Hey, what's up guys? Sorry, you'll get to pause Paulie right now. This is future editing Paulie. I just want to quickly say, developers, you can contact me over here. Please do so if I messed anything up. I don't want to spread misinformation, so if you want to yell at me, please hit me up on Twitter and yell at me there. It should also be linked on the YouTube page itself. I'll also put it in the description. And then secondly, I made this video and I want to make this video series and mini video series similar to this to improve people's understanding of several fields. Hospitality will also 110% be on the list here. And if I can do that starting with games, if I can have one person leave this video series or this video understanding more and thinking twice about being an arse, then I would have won. So please guys, hit me up. You know all the things to click and all the things to share and all the things to like. Share this with your friends if they're into video game development or might be heading in that direction with their life, and also share this with any video game developer friends you have that might find fault with what I've said in this video. So that just about wraps it up for my future self interrupting my past self. So please be nice to past Paulie, and yeah, hit like, subscribe and all that. Thanks. Hey, what's up and welcome everyone to a bit of a different video today. If you're new here, my name is Paulie and today I'm going to endeavor to shed some light and hopefully bring a bit more honesty and goodwill into the gaming community as a whole. I'm sure there have been similar videos over the years, but if I can give any bit of knowledge on what it takes to get a game out and into existence, at least from a AAA viewpoint, maybe we can reduce toxicity towards developers and online as a whole, one person at a time. To do so, we're going to have a look at exactly what goes into making a game step by step. How easily things can be thrown out or just not work as intended. Just before we jump in, I'd just like to clarify one thing. I have no experience in the gaming industry other than following it for years and playing my fair share in that time as well. Why should I watch this video then, you might be asking yourself. Well, I do the research so you don't have to. Stick around and you might learn something, or you'll be a bit more informed next time you decide to rise up and become a keyboard warrior. I've spent a few months now looking into the development of what makes a game, what makes a game great, and how to get a game out the door. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. Let's have a look at the game development pipeline. It's important to note that this may vary from company to company, but they'll all share a similar flow. The development process can be divided up into three main stages. The first would be pre-production, the second, production, and the third, post-production. Now, if you spent any time following a game's development, you'll have heard these terms thrown around a few times. Hopefully, this can help shed a little bit more light on what each of them actually mean. Let's jump into the first. A game's mechanics. Think of Dark Souls' holification process and the possibility that the entire game could exist because someone on FromSoft's team said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we made a game where your max hit points went away every time you died? And from there more ideas could have flowed, and we could have eventually ended up with Dark Souls. Now, I'm not saying this happened, it's just an example. Another thing that could birth a game would be the story. Whether it's a story that just hasn't been told through gaming as a medium or a story that came fresh off the dome piece. Its origins doesn't really matter for the example, but it could mean a lot when it comes to intellectual property, copyright or any other legal shenanigans that could lead to lawsuits and delay your game. Then, the last thing I would like to highlight here would be a shift in technology. Maybe a developer has always had an idea for a game, but the technology just wouldn't allow it. Think of the new console generations and the amount of power each iteration brings. The incredibly fast loading times touted by PlayStation and Xbox for the PS5 and Xbox Series X is a good example of maybe giving, I don't know, a horror game developer a new way to make me yell profanities while I get stuck on objects as I sprint through the dark. Another great example could be Half-Life Alyx. Valve has notoriously said they make Half-Life games when there's a breakthrough in technology. Alyx and VR sure carry the legacy and is a perfect example here. Inspiration for a game could come from anywhere. A dream, a song, an artwork, or a conversation you might hear in passing. But after the idea, what would the next step be? Well, this is a notoriously difficult part for any business. It would be called a business plan if you were looking to start one. And that is to get the big hats, investors, Kickstarters, or generally the people with the money to agree that it's worth making. To do so, they're going to be coming at you with important questions. What's the game about? Who's going to buy it? What's the platform? What's the competition like in this genre with this game concept or anything like that? How many staff would you need to make it? what's the budget, the style of monetization, how we're going to make some cash out of this, and then ultimately all of the resources you'd need. Now, if you manage to tick all these boxes, which could take quite a while depending on the scope of your project, you'll be assigned a small team that consists of a producer, an artist, and maybe a few programmers. In this team, what would the producer do? Well, the producer's job would be the same as in film: work on marketing, manage the budgets, and essentially be the money man. The concept artist would start working on sketches of characters and environments and try and create a tone and a theme to the project that other artists could eventually use as a reference. The programmers would work with the creative team, writing code and software required to tell the computer or system what to do when the game is being played. All of this work would not be in vain, as it is gathered into a huge document called the Game Design Document. This GDD is easily one of the most important parts in game development, and I feel is something large companies might have strayed from in recent years. This document guides the entire development team and is seen as a compilation of the core values of a game, a North Star of sorts to guide the weary developers as they face the treacherous ocean of ever-changing ideas in a game's development process. This document is needed to help the entire team hold the core concept of the game at center mass as they move further down the pipeline. Now, what would I put in my GDD? Well, you'd put the concept or idea of the game, the genre, the story, the characters, the core mechanics, the gameplay or gameplay loop, the world and level design, art or sketches for reference, the early concept art, and the big hat's favorite, monetization. Each studio would have a different GDD style and the content may vary, but overall it is the spine that holds the game upright as the skeleton and biology is added. The final job of the GDD would be as a marketing tool to help promote the game using its core elements. Then we finally get to the last step in pre-production, that would be prototyping. Prototyping is when many of the game's core concepts finally make it into the same place. It's a test to see how well the mechanics, art, UI, and the user's experience combine with one another and how it holds up to the grand concept of the game. It's an incredibly important part of game development and can be a make or break moment when you finally see your ideas in reality, get them out of your head and off the page. It's during this stage where companies begin to use old assets or placeholder assets to test the game. It can then also be tested internally, as a fresh set of eyes could very easily help you spot a problem you might have missed. These assets are low quality assets that the game developers could use to build a prototype as quickly as possible. Some of these early assets also sometimes end up staying in the game as they are overlooked when the game moves out of prototyping. Think of it this way: the sooner you realize something might not work, the sooner you can cut your losses and run, the more money you'd save. This is also true the other way around and could possibly lead to a game being fast-tracked, which might in turn bring its own issues, as the case seemed to be with EA's Anthem. That just about wraps it up for the first part of our series. Now, before you go, remember to let me know what you thought in the comments. Beat that like button like as you meet and get the hell out of here. If you enjoy my content and would like to see more of it, hit the sub button on the way out. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.